Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football Teachers. Make sure you do follow us on Twitter at FF Teachers. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Fantasy Football Teachers. And don't forget to subscribe right here to the Fantasy Football Teachers YouTube channel. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you get notified every time we have a new video. I'm Trevor Lane. Today we are doing the starts of the week. So guys, you would typically find ranked outside of the top 12 at each position, breaking down some hidden value that you can find. Starting off at the quarterback position, Ben Fisher, coming to you first. Who do you have?
Thanks, Trevor. So let's take a look at Alex Smith. Put up over 400 yards last week against the Lions. Now faces a Cincinnati team that has given up the 8th most fantasy points to quarterback. If you look on the other end, Joe Burrow can absolutely sling it. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Green, if he's not dusty old A.J. Green, they can put up some points and stay with it, which only increases the chances that Alex Smith is going to have to keep throwing it. Scoring McLaurin, Terry is absolutely always in conversation for the wide receiver one. You got Logan Thomas. You got J.D. McKissick that has came on late in the last couple of weeks. Alex Smith, top 10 play this week.
All right. I like it. Especially coming back from that leg injury. Kyle Olson, who's your surprise QB1 for the week?
This week, based on his matchup, I'm going with Derek Carr, man. I mean, his biggest game of the year this year was against the Chiefs. So he had 31 fantasy points at Kansas City, put up 347 yards and 3 touchdowns. Definitely a little bit worried about his numbers lately. He has been under 200 yards the last few games, but he's only had average about 25 attempts per game in those 3 games. So he just hasn't been getting the pass attempts because they haven't needed him to throw that much. But this week they're playing the Chiefs. He's going to need to throw the ball, right? So they are most likely, there's a decent chance they're playing from behind or they're just trying to keep up. And I would assume 35 or more pass attempts this week for Derek Carr. I think he's easily up in that mid 200-yard range. You could see him with another big game of over 300 yards. You got to look for multiple touchdowns. So I'm looking for Derek Carr to be, I think a safe floor is in the 22 to 24 point range, which would be better than what he's done the last few weeks. And I think you could definitely see him get up into that 30 to 35 point range with the way that game could go. So Derek Carr, I think, is going to crack the top 10 this week, just as Ben thinks about Alex Smith.
I like it. I think that's a good call there. I'm going risky on this one. So let me tell you, if you're out there in the league and you need big points and you're not looking for safety, this is where you're going to go with this guy. I'm talking about Taysom Hill. There are guys with certainly a higher floor. We have no idea. This is the mystery box here. We don't know what Taysom Hill has because we've barely seen him play the quarterback position. He gets a few throws in here and there, but somehow he's beat out Jameis Winston. And because Drew Brees is apparently completely broken, he has something like 11 cracked ribs. Poor guy. But Taysom Hill taking over, and you couldn't ask for a better opponent. The Atlanta Falcons give up more points to the quarterback position than any other team in the NFL. So if Taysom Hill can do anything, he should be able to put up some points this week. And what I anticipate seeing is a lot of little dump out passes to Alvin Kamara. And you know what? Those still count. Those are going to rack up fantasy points every time that Hill throws it 5 yards to Kamara and then Kamara takes it another 10. Those still count for Taysom Hill. So that's who I'm going with this week. Again, a bit more of a risky play, but if you're willing to roll the dice, I think he's in a great situation. Ben, let's jump over to the running backs. Who do you got?
Yeah, so the one I'm going to stick with is Nyheim Hines, facing the second worst team against running back with the Green Bay Packers. Although with Nyheim Hines, you're not really looking at how many runs he's going to get. Although last week he did have 12 attempts, you're really basing it off those targets. And 3 of the last 4 weeks, he's had at least 5 targets. He has a fairly safe floor, and he has some upside as they do look for him out of the scat back kind of role down by the end zone. You still got Jonathan Taylor, Jordan Wilkinson, who's going to get those, really close to the end zone touches. But Naheem Hines can give you a very safe floor, but still also offer that ceiling and what could end up being a high-scoring game with Green Bay, who we know Aaron Rodgers can absolutely put up points to Devontae Adams, and Indianapolis, who Philip Rivers has shown in the last couple of weeks he can keep up.
Naheem Hines, good pick, also has a very impressive tumbling routine he occasionally unveils when he does score a touchdown. KO, who do you have at the RB spot?
So running back, I'm gonna go with Gio Bernard. You got obviously Mixon out at least a few more weeks. He's gonna get the action there. I think he's gonna be getting a decent amount of carries. And with Gio, you're always expecting some catches for him. So kind of the same thing with Hines. You've got that pretty good floor right there, because you expect Gio to be involved in the passing game. You do have Pirine there and Travion Williams who will be active, but I think, Gio Bernard's the experienced guy. He's been there forever. They're going to lean on him, his experience. And I just think with the floor, with the passing game and all that, I think he has the potential to have a really big game there with the Bengals. So I like Gio a lot this week. He's ranked down at number 17 right now on ESPN, but I could definitely see him being up around that 10 to 12 range. So I think he's a good play this week for sure.
Man, Joe Mixon, I literally have him on half of my teams, and I am so fortunate I was able to get Gio Bernard in order to handcuff him because, oh man, I would be in big trouble heading into the fantasy playoffs with Mixon now out at least another 3 weeks. For my guy, I'm going with Mr. Disappointment. I'm going with CEH. Might as well be MEH because that has been his season. It's been a whole lot of meh. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I mean, look, he is in that high-powered Chiefs offense. They're playing a Raiders run defense that is, well, it's pretty easy to score on. They give up the 5th most fantasy points to the running back. No, CEH isn't getting a lot of rushing opportunities because the Chiefs aren't doing that much because they figure, hey, we've got Patrick Mahomes. Let's let him throw the ball, which, that's a smart strategy. But fortunately, he is still drawing targets. So while he is on single-digit rush attempts for the last 3 games, he is still getting targeted in the passing game, and I'm going to bet on that Chiefs offense to give him some opportunities down around the goal line to at least run one in. So I'm going with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I still believe in the talent. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is going to usurp too much of his role, and so I've got CEH as my guy for this week. Jumping over to the wide receiver spot, Fisher.
Yeah, let's go with the last man standing in Detroit, Marvin Jones. We have no Amendola. We have no Galladay. We have no DeAndre Swift. Marvin Hall is going to get 2 passes deep, 50-yard deep passes. He'll get those from Stafford. But Marvin Jones has got to be the guy. Hawkinson's there, but Stafford has a feel for Marvin Jones in the end zone. Let's roll with Marvin Jones.
Homer.
I am a homer. Very simple. Last man standing. There's nobody else to throw to. Play Marvin Jones.
Olsen, who do you have?
Well, I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson up in Minnesota. And, the main reason is they're playing the Cowboys. Cowboys are terrible this year. Defensively, they give up a lot of points, a lot of yards. Jefferson's been hit or miss. He's had 4 big games. If you count the 4 for 103, he had 14 points, one of those. But he's had some big games. He had the 30-point game against the Titans. He had almost a 40-point game against the Falcons. And then he had a couple bad ones. So last week I was really kind of low on Jefferson. I pulled him out of one of my starting lineups, and then he went 8 for 135. So I just think with the opponent being the Cowboys there, he's been a little inconsistent, but I think you bet on him having one of his bigger weeks this week. He's actually ranked outside the top 20, but I could, I think he's going to be top 15, if not up around top 10. He's got that potential for you to be a top 5 receiver if he has one of his really big games. So I like Jefferson a lot.
That's a good pickup. I look at the Cowboys and bad is one way to put it. I prefer to consider them to be very generous, a very giving team in terms of fantasy points, but that's a great pick. Jefferson, man, that guy is making the Eagles question their life choices just about every day and their fans for passing on him. My guy that I'm going with, though, Deontay Johnson. I think he is the wide receiver 1 in that Steelers offense. And you look at what's happened. Look what's happened to James Conner. He is slowly disappearing out of that offensive game plan. What are the Steelers doing? They are giving the ball in Big Ben's hands, and they are letting him cook. Forget let Russ cook. This is about let Big Ben cook. He is airing it out each and every game. Last 2 games, Deontay Johnson has had double-digit targets, incredible talent. This is a guy going up against a weak Jacksonville defense, put up 116 yards last week. I think he could do it again this week. Let's finish things off with the fantasy bonanza. Wrap it up with the position everybody loves, the tight end. Fisher, what do you got?
Yeah, so this one could get absolutely weird with Taysom Hill quarterback.
Let's get
but
weird.
let's roll with Jared. let's get weird. Let's roll with Jared Cook. You got a tight end throwing to a tight end over here. Quarterback tight who's now a quarterback throwing to Jared Cook. You know who's giving up the most points to tight ends? Atlanta. Now they got to worry about some, crazy scat back quarterback that's going to just run around and chuck the ball, to who knows who, hopefully Kamara and Jared Cook. But let's roll with Jared Cook. I do got a sleeper, or not a sleeper, but I think Rudolph, Kyle Rudolph with Minnesota. If Irv Smith doesn't play, be aware of Kyle Rudolph. He's old, but I think last week he put up around 60 yards. Kirk Cousins is going to look for him. If Irv Smith is not there, you don't need to fight for those targets with Irv. Roll with Kyle Rudolph. But if Irv's out there, let's go with Jared Cook.
I like it. I like it a lot. You know what? I mean, the good fantasy strategy this season has been play receivers who are going up against the Atlanta Falcons, and that includes, of course, the tight end position. So good one. And that reminds me, there is a little bit of a weird loophole this week with Taysom Hill. In some leagues, he is actually eligible at tight end. And if that's the case, hopefully you picked him up. It might be a little bit cheating, but not really, because you can still do it. Slot him into that tight end spot. You're going to get quarterback production out of the tight end position, which would be absolutely incredible to get and very well could win you your week, given how much of a wasteland the tight end position is.
He is available with tight end, unless they've changed it within the last couple of days. He is designated tight end availability on FanDuel. So if you play on FanDuel and you do not have him in that tight end spot, you need to quit playing fantasy football.
Fix that right away if you haven't done that already. All right, Olsen, what do you have at tight end?
Well, first of all, Trevor, there's no cheating. It's not cheating if they let you do it. So it's that's the way you do whatever you can to win, man.
I like
but
it.
I see your point though. I'm gonna go with Jonnu Smith. This is a really exciting one. Let me tell you. No, not at all. But he has, the last couple of games, he's been right around 10 points. He had 11 and he had 9. He had a touchdown each of those games, although one was a rushing touchdown. But, hey, you got that small possibility for him to do that. You got Frickser there, and they are actually splitting targets exactly. The last 4 weeks, each guy is averaging 3.5 targets. So you have to worry about that. I'm more looking at this just pure, he's number 16 tight end right now. If he can get me 10 points like he's gotten the last couple of weeks, 10 points for a tight end ranked number 16 is actually pretty good. So, he's going to get most likely a couple catches. You have that chance for a score, and you have a chance that he might run the ball. So I know he did it last week, so he might do it again. I don't know. I'm not that excited about this one, guys, but you know what? Hey, rolling the dice. Like Fisher said, getting a little weird, but hey, he's got 10 points last 2 weeks. I'll take that if he can do that again.
Tight end is all about the dart throws, and you know what? I keep waiting because Jonnu Smith is maddening. This man is a monster, right? We saw it at the beginning of the season. You throw him the ball, he takes off like a running back. He is an athletic freak, and you do not want to tackle him. Just look at him physically. He doesn't look like a person that you would want to try to tackle. And so he gets you an extra 10 yards every time he catches the ball. And then the Titans decided, no, he's too good. It's not nice to the other team to throw him the ball. So we're not going to do that anymore. I keep waiting for them to wake up. Who knows? Maybe this is the week that they'll start giving the ball back to Jonnu Smith. For my tight end, I am going with Logan Thomas. I guess by tight end definition, he's a little bit of a revelation at the position because he occasionally catches a ball, which is about all you can hope for right now at tight end. But he's also got a great matchup going up against the Bengals. They give up the second most points to the tight end position. Alex Smith is going to have to throw the ball to somebody. Might as well be Logan Thomas. Not a ton of options out there. We have seen him target McKissick a lot, and so that might be a little bit of concern. But again, if you're going to take a dart throw on somebody, you want to take a tight end that has an advantageous matchup, and that is exactly what Logan Thomas has. All right, guys, I think that wraps it up for our starts of the week. Final thoughts heading into what is going to be a pivotal week 11 in fantasy leagues.
Yeah, just rapid fire. I think two players, Damian Harris and then Gibson as well. KO, I know you talked a little bit about him earlier in the week, but I think those players could also, they're outside of the top 12. They could do some damage this week as well as Kalen Balazs.
Yes. Yep. All guys we're looking at. Sony Michel coming back. I'm hopeful that doesn't do too much to Damian Harris because he was looking really good last week.
Yeah.
KO, anything else that you've got before we get out of here?
No, just you guys cover it really well there. I'm just looking forward to a matchup of division leaders between me and you, Trevor, in my league. So again, hey,
yeah,
Ben almost ended my perfect season last week. Now it's your turn to try. So we'll see how it goes.
Trevor, I was going to jump in with the humble brag about the fantasy playoffs. You shut up.
Oh, isn't fantasy football fun? This is what it's all about, bringing people together so they can bring each other down. That's the way it's done. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Make sure, again, you do give us that like, and don't forget to subscribe right here to the Fantasy Football Teachers YouTube channel. Till next time, everybody, see ya and stay safe.